Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Relationships. What would your reaction be if you found out your spouse was getting ready to cheat on you with one of your friends? This one's from user ThrowArray Cotwatch. Caught wife trying to cheat with my friend from her iWatch. So last night, my wife of 7 years decided to have a chill out night. After dinner, she went to the den and was watching her programs while I flitted between watching the Spurs football game and doing some odds and ends that I had planned. Next thing I know, she's got the wine out and has 2 bottles of this stuff. At around midnight, I went to check on her and seen she was out cold on the couch. I went to scoop her up when her iWatch thing buzzed and a message popped up on the screen. It said something along the lines of, "Haha, I can't do that. OP would knock 7 shades of crap out of me." I wondered what the F that was all about, so I pressed on it and it was a conversation between my wife and a friend of mine. Now, I wouldn't say this guy is a close friend of mine, but he's someone I've played 5-a-side with for years, drank with, and have known since we were teenagers. We used to call him Jacket Holder because when we got into scraps as teens, he'd always be the guy holding the jackets while everyone else went for it. Right, so as I said, I pushed on the conversation while this thing is still attached to her wrist, and scroll up to the top, and as far as I can tell, it's him that contacts her first, unless she's deleted. There's lots of flirting and winking going on, but nothing that you could outright say was cheating. Then I get to last night, and when she's drunk, she starts openly begging him to sleep with her. I couldn't believe my effing eyes. I'm paraphrasing here because I can't remember the exact words, but she was saying crap like how much she had always wanted him, how no one would ever find out if he did want to do something, and the last one that effing killed me, that she was great at keeping secrets. I tried to scroll on her watch but couldn't find any other messages, and I don't know her phone passcode. I put her in her bed and just sat in the kitchen in shock until I fell asleep, then got up for work about 5:30 a.m. When I went to get in my work van, I was slunked down on the wheel and realized I couldn't face it. So I went back in the house, grabbed a half-drunk bottle of vodka, filled it to the top with Coke, and went on a walk down the railway line. We live beside a lot of woodland and a disused railway line that goes 4 miles, and I've walked about half the length of it. I'm sitting under a railway bridge like an effing troll right now, just seething at the whole thing. You'd probably think there's a fire going from about a mile away due to the steam coming out of my ears. So what do? I don't want to speak to her. I can't even bear to look at her after reading that crap. It was like a dagger through my heart. I just feel like every morsel of love I had for her has evaporated into thin air after reading her begging like that. Effing yuck. I honestly want to ghost her, man. If I could, I would never speak to her again. The whole "I'm great at keeping secrets" was the thing that really got me though. Like, who even are you? It reeks, but it's a case of how far down the rabbit hole do I want to go? I don't care if I'm being honest, I'm just done. I've never felt so betrayed and disgusted in all my life. The thing is, I've invested so much in her, not just as a partner, but as a person. I loved her so much and thought her personality, and by extension my personality, reflected that of good people. To realize she's a backstabbing snake makes me feel like a snake. I feel like a worse person than I was yesterday. The only way I can describe it is for someone you looked up to, took advice and life lessons from, to suddenly find out they were a pedo or an abuser or just a downright creep. Your entire perception of yourself and who you are would be shattered because you've took on board what they've said and invested time into a creep. God, I'm rambling nonsense. I apologize. I'm lucky in that our house is owned by my parents, who 6 years ago moved to a retirement village and we moved in. The house will be bequeathed to me when they die, but I don't and hopefully won't own it for a long time. They couldn't be bothered with the upkeep and all the problems, etc., and wanted to see out their final days in peace. So when we do divorce, my soon-to-be ex won't be getting her hands on it. So what do I do then? I'm honestly thinking of just not saying a word and throwing her right out. Also, while walking here, it went through my mind to get my mate, who's a locksmith, to quietly change the locks today. I could feed her any old garbage about something from the doors being broken. She won't care what's going on anyways, as long as I'm about. Then, after he's done, lock the front door and tell her to come out and look at something out the back. When she comes out, just ran back in and lock the door behind me. That sounds childish as F, doesn't it? Ugh, seriously though, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm staring at a bottle right now and my life feels like it has been ripped apart at the seams. As for that prick so-called friend of mine, there's no doubt he was up to something here. There's also no doubt I wouldn't have caught wind of this at all, so I'll be seeing him very soon. Never mind holding jackets, he'll be holding his face. Aw man, OP, I'm so sorry. Even though I can't relate, I totally understand how bad this situation is. I don't know about you guys, but when somebody in a relationship has made the decision to go looking outside the relationship, that's just as bad as cheating. And the fact that she was asking for it, reassuring that other dude that nobody was gonna know, that means she was all in cheating. If I were you, OP, I'd try to find the proof that she was willing to cheat and then lawyer up. As for your so-called friend you play football with, I'm not sure you want to fight him because you could be facing assault charges. Maybe find some other way to get back at him. But like you guys know, that's just my opinion. What would you do in OP's shoes? Well, while you ponder on that, why don't we just move on with the update to see what OP did? Thank you to everyone who reached out to me after my first post. Was really appreciated. So, yesterday, after I had written the post and was in a complete mess, 2 dog walkers came over to check on me and I was obviously concerning them. I told them everything. They listened and the first thing one of them said to me was, "Son, the worst thing you can do right now is drink. It'll cause carnage." I have to thank her for that because I was on the highway to hell at that point. I threw the vodka away, got in touch with a friend, and he said I could come to his place for a while to calm down. He was at work but told me where the spare key was. We live in a small town of around 15,000 people and he wasn't too far away, so once I got there I sat on his couch just trying to calm down. Throughout the morning, I was getting multiple texts and phone calls from my wife asking where I was and what the hell was up, as my work van was still sitting in the driveway and I was nowhere to be seen. I texted her back telling her that there was a problem with the engine, so I got a lift into work, which she seemed to buy as she just texted back saying, "Okay." When my friend got back from his work at about 5 o'clock, I told him everything that had happened and asked him his opinion. I also told him not to tell anyone about jacket holder, as that might then get back to my wife, which I didn't want at this point. I would deal with him later. By that I mean I'll expose what a little rat he is. Knocking the F out of him doesn't help me at all as of now. As an aside to the people saying he done nothing wrong, he messaged my wife first. He was being extremely flirty. What the F is he even playing at messaging my wife for? In the first place, he only knows her in passing, from afar. Look, I've got no problem with 2 adults conversing with each other, but they hardly knew each other and it was flirty from the start, as far as I could tell. I think they've seen each other while out and about and it's gotten flirty then. So my friend convinced me to try and keep a low profile and see what I could dig up, but at the same time, speak to a lawyer and get the ball rolling in terms of finding out my options, which I have done today. He took me home about 6 o'clock and I was honestly dead on my feet by that point. I think the adrenaline pumping the entire day, then suddenly stopping, knocks it right out of you, so I was extremely tired when I got home. The second I walked through the door, I knew something was up as my wife was on me right away, asking me all sorts of questions about work. I asked her why does she even care, and she said that I'd left my big flask and my lunch bag in the front passenger side seat, and something's been up today. She could feel it. I was about to lie, but I was just too tired. I couldn't be bothered putting any sort of charade up, so I just said, yeah, there's something up. That when I was putting her drunken butt to bed last night, a message came up on her iWatch, which I read, and all the other ones. And that she was an effing disgusting cheat that I wanted nothing more to do with. Her demeanor went from an arms-crossed person in power to scared little girl within about a second. Good at keeping secrets, eh? Begging that little rat to bed you, eh? Yep, read it all. She started sobbing and I just walked away and upstairs into the shower. When I got out, she was sitting on the top of the stair crying still, and the excuses started right away. How she was drunk and vulnerable, had never done anything like that before, how he had messaged her first and it didn't mean anything. She was never gonna go through with it. Pretty much everything that everyone on here was saying she would say, like she had the playbook out. The only thing she didn't do was try and blame me. She probably knew I would have thrown her right out the door if she had tried that crap. I told her that I wanted a divorce and her out of the house within a month. Also told her that she was moving to the spare room. I've been pretty much ignoring her ever since, just scowling at her and shaking my head when she starts waffling nonsense. I don't want to hear it. She slept in the spare room last night and I haven't spoken to or texted with her at all today. If I'm lucky, maybe she'll be gone when I get back from work, but my luck's not that good, I suppose. On getting her out though, I was telling my parents what was happening today, and my mother was adamant I wasn't throwing her out on the streets. Her and my mother are close and always have been. We'd have been together 11 years in December. My mother was saying she made a mistake and that we should sort it out like adults. That we've been through too much together and that she didn't actually do anything. It was just words. She completely took her side over mine. Couldn't believe it. Could this F me here? Like, do I have no right to ask her to leave if my mother is against it? It's literally gonna be my house when my parents pass and I did nothing wrong, so I'm not leaving. It's probably gonna turn into a War of the Roses Part 2. I managed to get myself an appointment with a divorce lawyer for next week, so I'll be going to that to discuss my options. Until then, I'm just gonna ignore my soon-to-be ex-wife, I guess. I know she's probably not gonna admit anything else now. I'll never know if she was a really good liar or she was just talking crap to him to get him on side with her for an affair. Anyways, sorry about the delay in the update, just got the chance to write it now as I'm finishing work. Well, back to the funhouse, I guess. Well, OP, you're doing the right thing by going for divorce. Some people might argue that this is something that can be solved by counseling. My opinion is, go for divorce. It doesn't matter if she physically went and had an affair, because she was the one that was ready to do it and keep the secret. And also, she's the one that was asking him for it. On this point, I gotta say, your mom is way out of line. This is handling it like an adult. And the fact that she took her side over yours makes me think she's hiding something similar. Maybe she had an affair, maybe not. But she should have been on your side. Okay, that's enough ranting from me. What do you guys think? Do you think OP did the right thing? Alright, so now let's move on to the next story. How do you think you would react if somebody sent you screenshots and videos that your significant other has sent their ex, in which these videos and messages are incredibly intimate? Well, this one is from user KarmaIsReal22. 1 year into marriage and my husband, 38 male, cheated with ex-girlfriend, 42, for 8 months. My husband of only 2 years began cheating on me with his ex-girlfriend 1 year into our marriage. I, 30 female, was made aware of the affair by the ex-girlfriend's boyfriend, now her ex-boyfriend. He reached out to me on Facebook and sent me screenshots of their intimate conversations. Seeing my husband pleasure himself in videos that he sent her, sending pictures and lengthy intimate fantasy stories to another woman has traumatized me. I'll never forget that day I found out. This was 4 months ago, and we have been in the process of working through things by going to individual therapy and working on projects in the house. I needed him to be 100% honest, show remorse for his actions, and prove to me that I could feel safe giving my heart again. Everything was going well, until yesterday. That ex-boyfriend sent me the final string of conversations since he thought I had left my husband due to my last name changed back to my maiden name and relationship status taken down from Facebook. These were the most hurtful messages out of them all, and he knew that they were. He sent me these final messages under the impression I had left him and to give me reassurance to not go back. Since the beginning, my husband has sworn up and down that it was his ex-girlfriend who initiated the intimate comments and flirty conversation, and not him. He promised me it was her who was wanting him back, and he was lured in with the attention she was giving him. That was a lie. It was him. He was the one. She even pushes back in some conversations saying, "Stop, you're married." But he continues, begging her for pictures of her breasts and videos of her touching herself. He doesn't understand how this made me start reliving the entire affair all over again in my head. I tried to have a rational conversation with him last night about this new information that was leaked to me. I am so tired of finding things out. The truth trickling is killing me. He completely stonewalls me, just stares at me when I ask questions. We sit in the living room silent, and at around 10:30 p.m. he starts getting text messages. This is unusually late for him to receive messages. Since the trust has gone back to 0%, I decide I need to find out who is texting him so late, and to my relief, it is his sister. However, this relief is completely demolished when I realized he has been sending her text messages talking about me, making fun of me, and then deleting them to hide them from me. We promised each other we would not delete any messages of our phones and be 100% transparent. My head is running wild with concern of what else he's still doing and not telling me. Am I overreacting for feeling like our reconciliation is back to ground zero after this new information showed me he still hasn't been honest? Why is he still deleting messages, and am I overreacting that he deleted his text messages to his sister? FYI, I have not already left him because I have nowhere to go. I do not have personal friends in this city and no family close by. I can't just go to a lawyer without him knowing because he has full control of finances. And then I'm even more worried he will kick me out of the house because it's in his name. I'm in a bad position. Oh, OP, you got that right. You're in a bad position. You're married to a cheater and you're trying to make it work. I'm guessing by now you've learned that cheaters lie. He's gonna say anything he can to try to get you to trust him again while he keeps on doing the same crap he always did. Also, what's all this stuff about him making fun of you? That doesn't sound like proper behavior of a man who's trying to win his wife back. OP, unfortunately, your relationship is done. The sooner you realize that, the better. In my opinion, if your parents can take you back, just move away from that city, go back to your parents and start divorce proceedings. But you guys know I'm ranting because I seriously dislike cheaters. However, how about we take a look at a few community comments to see the kind of advice OP got, and then we'll move on with the update. And Dave T says, if you haven't contacted a divorce lawyer yet, then you are underreacting. Your husband cheated on you. He doesn't care that it hurts you. He will do it again if he isn't already. Travelbug898 says, leave your cheating husband, dude. There is no fixing this marriage. Of course, he was always part of the cheating. He's a 42-year-old adult. No one is going to make him do something that he doesn't want to do. Drinking Wine says, underreacting actually. I might guess he is actually texting the girlfriend and just has it to look like it's his sister. He's scum. Totally agree with all three commenters. So now, let's move on with the update. After a long weekend of arguing, I finally let go. I let go of caring who he was texting. I let go of being scared to leave. I stopped showing emotion. I told him I couldn't do this anymore after he changed the passcode to his phone. 100% broken promise. His attitude changed when he saw my lack of emotion. I wasn't crying or even upset. Just told him everything was going to be okay for both of us and this wasn't healthy anymore. He started crying. He hadn't shown any emotions since 4 months ago when I found out about everything. He was begging me on the floor to stay and make this work. I said no. I was no longer going to be a doormat and disrespected anymore. I found my self-respect and backbone. Felt empowering to finally allow my heart to accept what he had become and see how unhealthy it was for both of us. I was so cold towards him. His crying and emotion felt fake after wanting it for so long and finally getting it. Crocodile tears? This morning, he got laid off. I feel awful for being so cold to him, but it's so hard to not feel like he's deserved this in some sort of way. I'm worried about him and his mental health, but not sure if this is a ploy to get me to feel sorry for him. OP, don't feel sorry for him at all. This whole crying and begging for you to stay crap, it's all about control. The minute you stopped caring, you took control away from him and you got your power back. That's all he wants. So yeah, F his mental health, what about yours? Take care of yourself, he's not worth it. Just like your username says, karma is real, and it's coming like a sweet freight train against your husband. I would suggest follow up with a lawyer and get a divorce, and in the meantime, enjoy the show. What do you think OP should do? Do you think she should worry about her hopefully future ex? And so we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and click like. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, here are more videos from my channel that you might enjoy. And having said all that, I will see you guys on the next video.